Thanks for staying with us. Our next guest comes from St. Louis, Missouri. Ryan Sohn is here today with the Sohn team with Remax Gold, and he brings along with him a guest today, Zach Zuroweste, Chief Executive Officer of Top Gun Storage Solutions. Brian and Zach, welcome to the American Dream. Great to have you both with us today.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks.
You got it. Well, Brian, my first question is for you. How does storage, right? How does that affect some of your clients or potential clients that you would deal with? So maybe buyers, sellers, people that maybe just need some renovations. How does storage really help your clients?
Yeah, so everybody has more stuff than they think they do. And some of them have more stuff than they want to have. And but they don't want to get rid of it. So storage is always a great thing, whether it's storing it for a period of time or storing it long term. Sometimes you have a business that just needs more space and they don't want to build a building. And sometimes you have a farm or you have a construction business and you need more space in your yard or you need space on a job site. Yeah. So there's a lot of different places to use storage.
Okay, and so I guess, Zach, you'd be sort of our expert here in the storage category. So what is Top Gun Storage Solutions? What do you guys do?
Well, Top Gun Storage Solutions is taking a unique angle for storage. First and foremost, the company, we designed it around community involvement, which means we want to target and use as many local businesses as possible. To date, I believe we have 37 local businesses in our small community, which gets a great buy-in from the community, and it advertises itself. Secondly, we use a different angle as far as the actual storage model. So we're using reusable shipping containers by a standard storage building. It gives you inherent security with the thicker steel. These things are designed to be on the high seas, so they can take a licking and keep on ticking if you want to take a tagline from another company. But it really gives great security for the person's goods on site, on our site, on their site, whatever the actual need of the customer, we're able to provide that with these mobile shipping containers.
Okay, I got to ask you though, because you're so right. It seems like such a unique approach. How did you come up with this idea of using these storage containers?
Well, my wife and I are both military veterans. My wife's still active duty, and she's a supply corps officer in the Navy, and she spent 18 months on the ground in Afghanistan. During that time, she lived in one of these very containers, and they modified it as basically a home for her to live in. Additionally, in the FOB or forward operating base that she lived, this entire base was surrounded by these containers. And the containers, they were used for, one, a barrier, and two, as storage for the soldiers and sailors on site. Myself, I'm a former F-18 pilot, so every time that we pulled into a port, these ports were surrounded by hundreds of these containers. So it sparked an interest in our mind of, why couldn't we apply this to the private sector? And so we did. We came up with some ideas. We looked at some different options. We started talking to folks, and we realized there's a great need for it, and that's kind of how we came up with the idea.
Amazing. So it just happened to you have it for one purpose, and you kind of you see something in it as well. And thank you and your wife for your service too. It might seem pretty obvious of what makes what you guys do maybe different than some of your competition, but are there some things that really do set you apart that people might not truly understand?
If you think about an on-site storage location, one thing, we do something called capacity on demand. So if I need more capacity, I'll make a call, and I can have new shipping containers on site within a few days. If you think about new capacity in a standard storage facility, you're going to take 6 to 8 months at a minimum once you get the site plan developed, approvals, and all the other things that take to build them. Oh, by the way, weather is a big factor in this. So it allows us to literally build capacity on demand, and that's just on site. Another unique part of on-site, we have a movable wall concept. So we're going to modify these containers. We'll have a door on one end, a door on the other end. And if a customer needs an 8x10 unit, I've only has 8x20 units, I can move that wall, give them exactly what they want, and reserve that 8x30 unit for a different time. Wow. Additionally, we can modify these containers for the customer's needs, whether it's a farmer that needs something like a tool shed or a wood shop or whatever the case may be, or perhaps a construction worker that wants a place to store his tools, perhaps a skid steer or something like that to secure these things. It gives them that security on site. They're approximately 2 millimeters thick, so they're 5 times the thickness of a standard storage facility. So it has inherent security in the container. And of course, it's made to be wind and water tight being on the high seas, they take some of the harshest environments, and it really gives them a security that way too with their valuables.
Amazing. So it seems like there's not really much you guys can't do, and you really do pride yourself on fulfilling all your clients' needs. I know, Brian, it's probably the same story for you in your business. Obviously, making sure all your clients' needs are met. I know you have a listing too. I want to make sure we talk about this and get a nice detailed description of it. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so I have 1447 Legacy Drive in Fenton, Missouri. It's a 4-bed, 4.5-bath house. It's 3,500 plus square feet, and it's a 2-story with a 3-car garage. It's 569,000. It has a view over a piece of private property that's behind it, so you're not looking at other houses, and so it gives that sense of being out in the country without actually being there. So you're right there at Interstate 44, and you're not looking at your neighbors.
Amazing, amazing. So you still get a little bit of that space, even though you're not too far from the city. And I guess, well, if anybody wanted to move in there, but they needed to maybe store some of their things, Zach would be the perfect person to put them in touch with. All right.
Take care of it.
Thank you both for coming on to the American Dream. Thank you so much for just letting us know what's happening in St. Louis, and of course, Top Gun Storage Solutions. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stick around, more interviews after this.